Most people believe being broke is only about money. They blame the economy, bad luck, low income, or lack of opportunities. But the real problem begins long before the empty bank account appears. Poverty starts in the mind before it appears in real life. A person first becomes mentally comfortable with staying stuck, then their lifestyle follows that mindset. You see it every day. People complain about their lives while protecting the same habits destroying their future. They talk endlessly about wanting success, freedom, and stability, yet repeat the same behaviors that guarantee struggle. Over time, survival becomes routine, and mediocrity becomes normal. That is how people slowly lose ambition. Not through one major failure, but through years of repeated excuses. Human beings adapt to almost anything, including struggle. Once the mind accepts limitation as identity, change feels uncomfortable, and growth feels threatening. Most people are not broke because they lack intelligence. They are broke because they lack focus. Their attention gets stolen every day by distractions designed to keep them passive, entertained, and dependent. Hours disappear into meaningless scrolling, gossip, trends, and temporary pleasures that contribute nothing to their future. Look at how the average person spends their day. They wake up and immediately consume. They check notifications, scroll through social media, watch other people succeed, and absorb endless entertainment before even thinking about their own goals. Their energy gets drained before the day truly begins. Attention is the most valuable currency in the modern world. Whatever controls your attention controls your direction. If your focus belongs to distractions, your future belongs to distraction too. People lose years of their lives without realizing they traded their potential for constant stimulation. Being broke rarely comes from one massive mistake. It comes from small destructive habits repeated consistently over time, wasting hours every day, avoiding responsibility, ignoring discipline, escaping discomfort, delaying growth. Those patterns quietly build a life of frustration and financial instability. The painful truth is that most people already know what they need to change. They know the habits ruining their progress. They know what wastes their time. They know what drains their money and energy. But awareness without action changes absolutely nothing. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, "I will start later." Later when they feel motivated. Later when life becomes easier. Later when conditions improve. But later turns into months, years, and eventually an entire lifetime of unrealized potential. Successful people do not wait for perfect conditions. They move while conditions are imperfect. They understand that confidence appears after action, not before it. Most people remain stuck because they spend too much time preparing to live instead of actually living. Another reason people stay broke is because they fear responsibility. They love the idea of success but reject the pressure that comes with it. Real freedom demands discipline, sacrifice, consistency, and accountability. Most people want rewards without carrying the weight required to earn them. Money exposes habits, it magnifies behavior. A person who lacks discipline while broke will still lack discipline with more income. A larger paycheck does not automatically create wisdom. It only increases the consequences of bad decisions. That is why many people earn more money but remain financially trapped. Their income changes, but their mindset stays the same. They continue spending emotionally, avoiding responsibility, and chasing appearances instead of stability. A poor mindset focuses on looking rich instead of becoming financially secure. It spends money to impress strangers while sacrificing long-term peace. It values external validation more than internal stability. People buy expensive things they cannot afford because they crave attention and approval. They chase status through clothing, phones, cars, and lifestyles designed to create an illusion of success. But appearances never build freedom. Discipline does. Wealthy thinking works differently. Wealthy thinking values ownership over image. It prioritizes patience over impulse. It understands that every financial decision either creates future freedom or future stress. Environment also shapes financial behavior more than most people realize. The people around you influence your standards, habits, mindset, and expectations. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, excuses, laziness, and poor decision-making. Those behaviors eventually become normal. Human beings absorb energy from their environment. Mindsets spread, habits spread, ambition spreads. That is why remaining in the wrong environment slowly destroys growth without people noticing it. The moment you start improving yourself, some people become uncomfortable. Your discipline exposes their lack of discipline. Your growth reminds them of their excuses. And instead of changing themselves, they pressure you to stay the same. That is why growth often feels lonely. Improving your life requires separating yourself from habits, environments, and people that keep pulling you backward. You cannot build a better future while staying emotionally attached to destructive patterns. The real reason many people remain broke is because they are addicted to comfort. They repeatedly choose temporary pleasure over long-term progress. Comfort slowly destroys ambition while convincing people they are still in control. Discipline feels difficult in the present, but regret becomes unbearable over time. Every day spent avoiding growth increases future frustration. The pain does not disappear. It accumulates quietly until people wake up trapped in a life they no longer recognize. Most people want success without sacrifice. They want rewards without discomfort. They want transformation without changing their habits. But life never works that way. Every meaningful improvement demands discipline and personal responsibility. Growth requires letting go of old behaviors. It requires sacrificing distractions, excuses, ego, and emotional dependency on comfort. Something always has to be abandoned before something better can be built. Another reason people stay financially trapped is because they consume far more than they create. They spend entire days watching, scrolling, reacting, and absorbing while contributing nothing valuable themselves. The people who build successful lives focus on creating. They create skills, opportunities, businesses, discipline, knowledge, and value. They spend less time escaping reality and more time building a better one. Your life cannot improve while your daily routine revolves around avoidance. Every hour wasted on distraction steals energy from your future. Every repeated excuse strengthens weakness. Fear also keeps people financially stuck. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of embarrassment. Fear keeps people planning forever while action never begins. Dreaming feels safe because dreams protect the ego. Action creates risk. Action exposes weakness. Action creates the possibility of failure. But staying stagnant destroys far more lives than failure ever will. Failure teaches lessons. Mistakes create wisdom. Embarrassment fades quickly, but wasted years leave permanent regret. Nothing hurts more than realizing you spent years capable of more while settling for less. Success looks boring in the beginning. It looks like repetition, sacrifice, discipline, and consistency long before visible rewards appear. Most people quit because they expect immediate results from temporary effort. Real growth happens slowly. Small, disciplined actions repeated daily create momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates transformation. That is how lives change. Your future gets shaped by daily patterns, not random motivation. The way you spend your mornings, manage your money, use your time, and respond to discomfort slowly determines the direction of your life. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody will suddenly appear and build your future for you. At some point, personal responsibility becomes unavoidable. That truth feels harsh, but it is also powerful. Because if your habits created your current reality, new habits can create a completely different future. That means your life can change the moment your discipline changes. Transformation does not require perfection overnight. It requires consistency. One disciplined decision repeated every day builds momentum stronger than occasional motivation ever will. Read more, learn valuable skills, protect your focus, save intentionally, remove distractions, distance yourself from habits that weaken your mind. Little by little, your life begins moving in a completely different direction. The people who escape struggle are rarely the most talented people in the room. They are simply the people who stayed disciplined long enough to see results. Consistency defeats intensity almost every time. The real reason you are still broke is not hidden. It lives inside the patterns you repeat every single day. Your habits shape your future whether you pay attention to them or not. The moment you become honest about those habits, your life will start changing. Because being broke is not only about lacking money, it is about lacking discipline, focus, patience, and the courage to become better. If this message spoke to you, subscribe for more life lessons that sharpen your mindset. Comment with the habit you need to break, and share this video with someone who needs this truth today.